everyone, Miss Brittany here. Tonight we are going to be making pumpkin scones. For our scones, we will need milk, flour, salt, brown sugar, baking powder, canned pumpkin. Make sure that it's pure pumpkin and not pumpkin with the spices already added in, and some cinnamon. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start our recipe off with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm just grabbing a knife this way that we can level out our cups of flour. So I'm going to take my 1 cup, and then I'm just going to take my knife and level. This way we have an even cup of flour. So we have 1, 2, and then let's put our half in. Half. Okay, next we're going to add in our brown sugar, our baking powder, our cinnamon, and our salt. So I have our packed brown sugar here. I'm gonna tap that into the bowl. That was 1/4 cup. I have 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Next, we'll need a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay. And last but not least, we need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Be very careful with the salt because we do not want salty scones.
What did you do? Just pour half of it in there?
No, I just laughed at myself about the salty scones.
Why?
Next, you want to cut in a 1/2 cup of butter. So when we cut butter into a mixture, there's actually a tool that you can use, and it almost looks like a giant rounded fork, and you would kind of cradle it back and forth. Not many people have it. I don't have it in my house, but you can use 2 butter knives. So, handy trick, 1 stick of butter equals a 1/2 cup. So we're just going to open this up. We're gonna plop it in our mixture. Hopefully you do it a little bit more gentle than I did. And I'm going to take a butter knife in each hand, and I'm just going to kind of start cutting it in pieces. And just go slow and steady. Okay, so once your butter is cut in, it should be crumbly like this. I actually found that there are a few other ways you can do it. You could use a fork to kind of cut the butter, or you could just use good old-fashioned clean hands. That's what I ended up doing, and it came out pretty good. You just need to make sure that you got that little crumbly mixture going. So next we need 3/4 cup of pumpkin and a 1/2 cup of milk. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my 1/2 cup of milk. Now I need 3/4 cup of the canned pumpkin. I have my 1/4 cup here, and I'm just going to fill 3 of these up. Now that we have our pumpkin and our milk in here, we are going to mix until we get a dough. So I just have a regular kitchen spoon, and I'm going to mix everything together. Once your mixture is completely mixed, it should look something like this. You do not want to overmix it, so just mix it until it forms a dough. Once it forms the dough, you're going to stop. We're going to take it out of the bowl, and we're going to knead it on a floured surface. So I'm going to try and keep it all one big lump. I'm going to scrape it out onto our floured surface. it's on our cutting board, we're going to knead it about 10 to 12 times. So, I want to make sure that I have some flour in my hands. And we're just going to knead it. You're going to cut your dough into 8 equal parts. I cut it in half, and then I cut it in fourths, and then I cut it in eighths. So I'm going to transfer these little triangles to a lined baking sheet. In the meantime, I have my oven preheating at 425 degrees, and then once it's hot, we will slide them on in. Before I pop them in the oven, I just want to show you what our triangles look like. They're not perfect, they're a little misshapen, they're not all the same size, but I do bet they'll be delicious. I just took my scones out of the oven after 14 minutes. They look great, they smell even better, so I took them off of the baking sheet so that they would cool faster, but I do have them on a cooling rack. You can see that the tops here are lightly golden. So now that they're going to cool for just a few minutes more, I am going to make our vanilla glaze. So I'm going to need a half a cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to need a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 to 2 tablespoons of hot water. So let's add in our half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I already have the half a cup of sugar, the powdered sugar, measured out. I'm just gonna pour that right in. And with the hot water, I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon because you can always add more. All right, so we're going to add 1 tablespoon of hot water. I just use hot water from the tap. I'm just going to take a basic kitchen spoon and I am just going to mix. And let's see what kind of consistency that we get here. So it's already pretty thin, so I'm only going to add the 1 tablespoon of water. I think if I add any more, it's going to be much too watery. So once it's nice and mixed, I'm gonna make sure that all of my scones are still on the parchment paper. I'm gonna go ahead and lightly drizzle some on. And there's no rhyme or reason, however you wanna do it. If you kind of rock the spoon back and forth, you can kind of get a little bit of a squiggle pattern. And this just adds a little something extra. You don't even have to add this if you don't want to, but just something fun. Right, these look beautiful, and of course we're not done until we taste our creation. So let's have a bite. Delicious! I can't wait to eat them all. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and we'll see you real soon.